What's good, squad? Welcome to the corner. I am the boss chick, and you know where we are. We're in the corner. Today we are back to the BS. Yeah, we back to the BS in light of Halloween. You know, it's getting closer. It's almost here this weekend. We're gonna discuss some of our horror stories, our worst dates ever. Um, Before I introduce the young ladies that will be on with me today, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the K Squad. You know you want to. It's lit over here. You definitely want to be a part of the K Squad. We got plenty of things coming, and let's get into this topic. Our first guest up, she is a returning K Squad member. Welcome, Theresa, the pretty plug. Hey, girl.
Hey girl, hey.
How you doing?
All good today. How are you today?
I'm good. It's been a good Thursday, even though it's been raining. Got a few little naps in today, and that's rare for a boss like me. So how about you? What you got going on? Please tell the people again what it is that you do, where you from, what you have popping for us.
Okay. My name is Theresa Parker on Instagram. I am everybody underscore loves underscore the pretty plug. I will plug you into as many affiliate links and into the people that you need to know. I am originally from St. Louis. I'm currently just celebrated my 6 years in Houston. Couldn't stand the cold weather back home, so made a change so I could be amongst some 80-degree weather here in almost November, the end of October, almost November. I had a really good week so far. Met some really great ladies yesterday, networking at a networking tea, and looking forward to being with the BS today and talking about these horror story dates since we are close to Halloween.
Halloween.
And
Yes.
this is our scary part. We don't need to talk about the horror movies that's on TV because we can
We got
talk about
enough.
the horrors
We got
of
enough memories.
dating for me after 40.
Gotcha. Definitely, I'm quite sure we can all dredge up some things. I'm already kind of I'm clutching my pearls now, but we're gonna laugh about them. We're gonna have a good time today and laugh about them. Next up, we have a newbie, a new person, a new boss to the K Squad. You guys welcome her. Welcome, Miss Stacy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I had a good week as well.
Stuff.
It's been busy. I'm sorry. I'm from New York originally, but I live in
Okay.
South Florida now, so I'm enjoying the warm weather, just like Teresa.
Come on
This
down. Come on down
ah,
to the south.
this is the only time like I can truly say I'm in love with Florida because the Florida winters in Florida, you can't beat it. I love it. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about our dating nightmares, and I'm ready to put put a nail in the coffin. I kind of feel like this is my way of like really burying them and knowing that I'm just gonna move forward to like positivity, positive dating experiences going
Yes.
forward.
Release. That's what it's
Yes.
about. So what is it that you do?
Oh, I work in government. I am a recycling
Okay.
coordinator for the city of Hollywood. I've always been in government, nonprofit. I have my side stuff that I'm working on too, but with everything that's happened with the quarantine and everything, everyone's had. I feel I've had different changes of have moments of like inspiration, and I'm just kind of pivoting. So I'm still kind of playing with what I want to do, like as far as extracurricular
Right.
activities. Yeah.
Right. Well, it sounds like you are a boss in your own right, and I'm sure you're gonna execute everything just perfectly. Timing plays a factor. Everything comes in its right timing, so I know you got it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we just have our last lady that will be joining us. This is my rider, my podcast big sis. She'll be joining us, Miss Erica.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Well,
Hey,
thank you.
how you
Hey,
how
Erica.
you doing?
Good, good. Good to meet you ladies.
Like,
Nice to
Glad
meet
you
you
are
too.
here. Glad you are here because this is your first time actually coming onto this platform. I know I've been on yours a couple of times. So let my case squatters know who you are, where you from, and what you do.
Well, my name is Erica Warren, and I am the co-host of the Dope Discussions with Erica podcast with my co-host Gator Live. We do topics about relationships, dating, divorce, self-improvement, all kinds of good stuff. And I am also a virtual life coach for women. I help them in the areas of self-love, life purpose, dating, and getting over a no good dude.
Mm, there she go. And I always like my fellow podcasters that come on. I notice their introductions to their shows because this is a music page as well. I am a music artist, so I be vibing to the intro. So I must play part of your intro. I must play it. It's a must.
They both was cousins, gifting you with their words so you might know you something. Just go and look for them live. They do it every Sunday. Every Sunday.
And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. It's Gator Beater, baby. Main state to state, baby, coast to coast. Like the vibe, baby, spark to joke. And we gon' bring you that dope. Come talk with Erica, man, talk with G. And all you gotta do is talk with me. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' bring you that dope. And we gon' give you that dough.
I just love it.
Thank you.
And your co-host Gator, he always come through. The voice is just it's like a trophy.
The voice.
It's
I'm
a trophy.
telling him. He's supposed to be making money off of that voice by now.
I'm telling you. Now I probably have him on later. I wanted it to be male and female this show, but the two guys that I had, they are co-hosts as well, but they both got strep throat. So I hope you guys get better. Yeah, Darius and Mel, I hope y'all get better, and we'll kick this off a male version of these horror day stories one day, because I must hear those.
Yeah.
Me too.
Jasmine said, "Oh yes, that intro is fire. It is."
Thank you, Jasmine.
All right, so before we get into it, I want to do a little icebreaker. Since it is the Halloween season, I want you guys to rate these three people in the F-boy category, the dust mite category, or the loyal op category.
One more time. The dust mite, the what, and the what?
The F-boy, the dust mite, and the loyal op.
Let me write this down.
And the loyal.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna name the three, and I'm gonna start with you, Stacey, since you already got it ready over there.
Okay.
How would you classify Jason, Michael Myers, and Freddy Krueger?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. I'm gonna say F-boy is gonna be Freddy Krueger because he haunts kids in their dreams, and I mean, there's nothing lower than that to me.
Okay.
Michael Myers is a dust mite because Dusties they have no momentum, and he's always like slow walking everywhere to kill people, so it's like you have no energy.
Right.
And I guess that leaves Jason as the loyal op, and I can't even remember what Jason does, so that's that.
Oh wow. All right, Theresa, pretty plug. Who you got? Who's on your F-boy list?
The same ones?
Mm-hmm.
I would say F-boy is Jason, because Jason was a hater. Jason was the one that was killing the couples every time they went to go make out, right?
Yeah.
So Jason was an F-boy hater. What were the other two choices? The dust mite and what else?
The loyal op.
Freddy Krueger, the dust mite, because that outfit was really, really dusty. It just like it got dustier as the movie went on. Like even if he did fall in the lake, it was still just as dusty. Yeah. So dust mite. And then the last one was Michael Myers would
Yeah.
be the you said the
Loyal op.
lawyer what?
Loyal op.
Yeah, because Michael made more movies than any of them, right? There was more Friday
Oh,
the 13th than
I really think him and Jason probably tit for tat.
okay.
I think they
Well,
tit for tat.
we gonna put him there because what was the old girl name that was in there when it started off?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee
Yeah,
Curtis.
so
Mhm.
she made
All
it through
right.
quite a few of them. So we gonna say we give him the
Look,
award.
she died, came back, got hurt,
Right.
came back. So.
And then so we'll give her that one.
All right. So, what about you, Erica?
The three she said and the way she said them is mine as well.
All right.
Because Freddie is a dust mite, creeping around while people sleep.
Ooh,
Catch me while I'm woke.
facts.
Is that true?
Come,
Yep.
Jason,
catch me
yeah.
outside.
How about that? Jason is the F boy because he always sneaking up on people while they on the toilet or while they having sex or in the shower.
Facts.
And then Michael loyal, man. Michael is a loyal op. Michael will not die.
And he wouldn't leave the camp, right?
This last movie I watched, I just knew they was gonna kill Michael. Michael still ain't dead. I'm sick of Michael.
And he's still at the
I'm
camp, right?
tired of him.
Sleepaway House, whatever the name of the camp was, he's still there. He never changed his
You
He
talking about
he
Jason?
you know what? He loyal though for real because he always go right back to his childhood house.
Yep.
I agree. Now I agree.
Mhm.
So I said Jason was the F boy because he didn't care who he got. This man, he left. He did leave Camp Crystal Lake. He went to New York. He went to New York and slayed some people.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah, that's right.
he
Okay.
Him and Freddie did a
care.
movie together.
That's
Yeah,
right.
see,
That's right.
and you know that wasn't in Camp Crystal Lake. You know that wasn't. They had to
Mm-mm.
go to Elm. He took him to Elm Street. So I say Freddie is a dust mite because he always leeching off everybody's dreams. Like you said, catch me outside. I let you went on walk so I can give you this 2 pieces of a biscuit. And Michael, he definitely Michael definitely loyal. He loyal. He chased the same person. He got the same routine. I'm coming out on Halloween. I'm going for this girl and these teenagers, and then I'm going home. And if somebody in my house, I'm gonna kill you too. So,
Yeah.
so
That's about it.
I think that's how it is. But yeah, all of them we know. Some people will probably go for these people. And I heard somebody say they really was digging Michael, like really digging Michael, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That's toxic. You real
Wow. Mm-mm.
toxic.
Some people just want someone just
I
to
don't
have
know.
someone.
Somebody for everybody, I guess.
What the old folks say? It's a pot. Live for every pot.
Fact.
A lid for every pot.
That's a whole pot that you can have by yourself. All right. So as far as things that we notice in people first, when we're getting into this dating, before we get to these dating stories, what are the things that draw you into a person before you're actually about to say yes to a date? Like, so what basically the turn-ons? Start with you, Stacy. The turn-ons.
For me, the turn-ons, I would definitely say if I'm going to say yes to a date, it's their humility, their quiet confidence, not cockiness, but their quiet confidence. Because I feel like I'm heterosexual. I don't know if that plays a part, but just putting that out there to when I meet a man that has like he exudes masculinity without having to display it. Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry, I had a moment.
Look, I just No, she probably had Idris in mind or something like that. I just know.
Woo, for real. And that's those are two things: humility, that confident energy. And I'm also very much a sapiosexual, so it's like if you can stimulate my mind and teach me something, oh my gosh, that's it. That's it.
I get it.
Sapiosexual. Yeah.
What about you, Theresa?
Oh gosh, communication, 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 consistency and respect, chivalry. Those are mine.
Okay.
So if you can be consistent with your communication, and you can hold a conversation within the communication, so that's that.
That's
Um,
definitely one.
um, like I say, the respect factor and the chivalry. I'm big on chivalry. I want my door open. I want you to know what side of the street you're supposed to be walking on. I don't want to touch the door, my purse. Um, Go and joke with me is the man who puts his coat over a puddle. We're probably gonna end up at the courthouse. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's how big I am on chivalry. A lot of folks say I'm just being extra, but whatever.
No, I like
Goes
that you know what you want. Treat me this way or go on about your business. I like that.
yeah, move around.
Erica, what about you? And first, hey Q.
Good conversation, man. If we can keep the conversation going and I'm not feeling like I'm pulling teeth and I'm not feeling like I'm constantly trying to give you a lifeline to get something out of you, that's attractive to me. And it's good conversation where it makes me have to think on a different level. We don't actually have to agree on what we're talking about, but as long as we can just keep the conversation going and that you can get me to kind of get my wheels a turning, because like they said, sapiosexual, that's one of my weaknesses. I love conversation. And so if a man can, draw me in on that, telephone conversation, if we have a phone call or a video chat, then I definitely
Right.
want to take that next step to meet him in person.
Got you. I agree. It's levels. It's definitely levels. I am very observant. So attractiveness is definitely, that's gonna go without saying whether you are presenting yourself a certain way, and especially those the ones who probably just hop in your DMs. I like to watch how you are acting on social media, and that can easily be a turn on or a turn off the way you present yourself on your timeline, and just even if like videos and stuff and you see them, I just pay attention and
Mhm.
see if it'll take me to the second level. So communication is definitely the number one, because I don't want you to keep asking me what you doing all the time. Just what you doing, like every other comment.
And
um
use your words. Don't WYD me. Because
yes.
I'm gonna ask you every time what that means, sir.
What it
What do that mean?
mean? Felicia said, "Yes, ma'am. Communication is something that some guys are seriously lacking." And what did Aretha say? Better know how to respect. That is correct. That is correct. But yeah, communication is very big. Like I don't want the same generic conversations to be happening every single day. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. I love a ambitious guy. Tell me your dreams. If you can articulate your dreams and I can see that twinkle in your eye every time that you're talking about it, that does something to me. Somebody that got goals. I'm a gold digger. Not in the essence of looking for somebody's pockets, but I like people's dreams to come true. I like to see my
Mhm.
dreams come true. So there has to be a mutual quality that has to have, that we have to have.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yep.
Uh so next, somebody's asking you out. What requirements does that person have to meet before you say yes? Like you've been talking to this person for a little while. What requirements would they have to have jumped over for you to actually have said yes? Stacy?
I would say some of the requirements would definitely be, yeah, because South Florida, a car. I mean,
Gotcha.
but I typically I don't have someone pick me up on the first date because that's just a rule of mine. But definitely, they have to have a plan. They have to have something going on. I don't like when someone asks me out, they're like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. And we're looking at each other like, what's going on? That's definitely something. They have to have a plan, have to have. I need to know that I would like to know that they're asking me out. What's the purpose behind them asking me out? I'm not looking for the whole, oh, let's get married and all this other stuff, but it's just like,
Right.
what are we doing here? Are you just trying to kick it with me? Are you trying to Netflix and chill? Because, guys will try to ask you out and set it up in such a way where they're going to present you this pretty shit on a silver platter, excuse my language. So
No, you good.
yeah, so I really want to know what the purpose is behind us getting going out together. Are we getting to know each other? What's the deal? Is it a business transaction, et cetera, et cetera? Is it a networking situation? And some of the other requirements are going to be that, if you heightened my interest enough, if you piqued my interest enough for me to say yes to you, I need to know that we're going to have some type of level of conversation. We're going to speak on things deeper than the whole, what are you doing? What WYD, whatever they're saying. And just like, I just want to know we can peel some layers and just kind of really have those types of discussions and talks. And we have to joke and laugh and be silly, because if we can't do that, and just cancel a date, throw it all away.
I get it. I get it. What about you, Theresa? What does the person have to have, or what would they have had to do to get you to say yes finally?
Be consistent, like I said, in conversation. Be able to hold a conversation. So I know that I'm not going to be sitting there bored or trying to figure out what we can talk about, knowing that they can carry it. And there's a fair exchange of just building off of what we talked on the phone about. I need to know that you're not single, married.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That happened. I had a guy, we were talking, and one day I kept hearing ding, 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 ding in the background. And I'm like, are you in the garage in the car? And he was like, yeah. I was like, are you married? And he was like, I'm single, married. So because he was in the garage and I heard all the dinging because he was in the car with either the door open and the keys in there. I was like, he was like, no, but I'm single, married. And I was like, Google, what is single, married? And Google was like, that shit don't go together. So I need to know you're not single, married. For
wow.
me to proceed,
horrible.
We'll get into another thing I need to know later. But for the first date, I would hope that you have money to pay for the tab. That you're not going to test me as far as the tab, because I'm gonna fail every time. And yeah, I guess that's enough for now. Those things are important to me, that you're gonna make me comfortable, and
definitely,
yeah, we're gonna have a good time and laugh and joke, and I'm okay with picking a place, because it seems that if I don't pick the place, then there's situations, but I'm kind of extra. But last date I went on, it was next to a nail shop, and I don't like going to nail shops where I can smell their products.
Oh no,
I'm really over the top with that. Like, I'll leave in a minute. But the nail shop next door was closed, but the food place smelled like acetone. So I am okay with planning the date as long as you can swipe or pay or whatever. I don't care, but I'm fine with that. So
okay. I see Quincy said if they don't have a plan, then their actual plan is to Netflix and chill. I agree.
Oh no, if it's to Netflix and chill, I have Netflix at home. I have my own couch. I got an air popper that makes popcorn.
I
Uh,
can do it by myself. By myself.
I have
I
a
get
nice
it.
blanket that's been some, a nice throw that's on my couch. So yeah, or I can sit up in my bed and Netflix and chill. I don't really need that. That's like relationship stuff to me. Once we in a relationship, we can do all the Netflix and chilling after we done had a date night that week. So yeah, next time we see each
I
other, we can
agree.
Netflix and chill.
Now, I say communication is definitely key. Like I have an extensive amount of time now because I don't. I need to really see what your intentions are. So if it takes 3 months of us just communicating before I decide to go out with you, that's just me trying to see when the real you gonna pop out because they
So
get
can I answer that?
disrespectful.
Oh,
And go ahead.
I just wanted to say, but if you wait 3 months, and I understand what you're saying, but
It depends.
it used to be where people could hold their crazy for 90 days, like back when I was younger. But now
No, no.
they might make it to last time crazy popped out with somebody, it was day 8 and day 11. It really got crazy, like days that we have known each other. So I would rather know at day 8 than to sit and talk to you for 3 months, 30 days or whatever. And then you come out and we've been conversating on the phone. And at day 91, we get in public and you act a complete in public fool. And I might, have some connection of feelings or something like that.
Right.
Act your fool early. And,
Mhm.
and
So you can
we
go
can
right.
we can cut the slate. Yeah, we ain't developed nothing. We ain't talking
we'll
about
we'll
nothing.
definitely get into it because like I think I said it on Erica's podcast about you got 3 strikes with me, and they can happen real soon. And the story that I got today, it happened within the matter of a couple hours. So it,
Yeah,
it just it depends. But since the pandemic is like I'm really cautious about getting out
Right.
and seeing people. So if it has to take this 3 months for me to talk to you and see how it's going, um FaceTime, if that's an issue for you, then that's a problem too. So we get into the catfish era there. So
Uh,
my thing is the sooner
um
the better. The sooner the better. The sooner we meet in person, the better, because a person can actually get you attached to them
yep.
in 3 months by just consistent
true.
communication. But once you actually meet them in person, they might be a totally different person. The chemistry might not be there. And then you've wasted 3 months, becoming attached to somebody that you really don't have that much in common with, because they could be anybody over the phone and even video chat. They can be anybody they want to be until you meet them in person.
What I find
It's
interesting
a
about that,
trial and error. Go ahead.
Yeah.
that's true. No, I was just gonna say what I find interesting about the dating scene in this 2021 is that the bar is so low for people that they don't even bother, putting up that representative for too long. I mean, they really don't at this point. It's like you'll be lucky if you get that on the first conversation or two, and then people show you who they are, and they expect you to deal with it. This is me, and it's not even a matter of like people are like walking malfunction from just let me rephrase what I'm saying. It's to say people don't people should still I feel people should still put their best foot forward, but there's this expectation of, well, this is the best that you're gonna get from me, love me or leave me. But it's like, but you're not shining your brightest, and I don't know. Sorry.
I've had conversations with a man where immediately when I hung up that phone, he was blocked. All I needed was one phone conversation, and I saw a million red flags in one phone conversation.
Yes. Yeah. It gets like that. And we'll get it. We'll definitely get into some red flags. Let's get into some of these stories though. Who wants to go first? Who wants to entertain us first?
Well,
Don't be
how
shy.
many
Don't be
stories
shy.
do we get? Do we get one or two? So that depends on which one I want to tell.
It depends. Let's start off with one. let me go ahead and rehash mine just a little bit then,
Okay.
and then you think about yours because I know you probably gonna be next. Uh, Erica, you probably remember this because I did mention this on yours. So
Mhm.
my friend that's in the comments right now, Jasmine, she suggested, someone, and she was like, yeah, he got a job, he got a car, he can really fund, the date. Now, the text messages prior to were kind of the basic, what you doing, and that should have been my red flag right there. That it should have been my red flag. I should have known better. It's like when I got a little bit too deep in conversation, then it's the LOLs or the laughing. Like, girl, you funny, because they couldn't actually reach the level of conversation or the topics that I was speaking on. Uh, but I was just trying to get outside of my norm and just try. Maybe I'm being a little too much or whatever. So I said, okay, let's go on a date. Um, so I get to my friend's house because that was like that was the meeting, the middle point, because you're not gonna know where I stay at. So I got to her house. He came and he was like, I was able to get over here, but my car ain't gonna be able to make it there. So that was strike one. Then, uh, so we get in the car, like, so I'm like, where we going? He was like, wherever you want to go. Not quite strike two, cause I knew my way around the area. So I was like, well, let's go here. So we got there, we talking, we having this conversation, and now he's doing the laughing thing in front of me instead of how we're doing it in the text. So it's like when the conversation got, like, I guess maybe he couldn't comprehend or couldn't understand. It was like, oh girl, you crazy. So, like, okay, so I guess that wasn't just a nervous
I'm
tick.
ready to pull off. I'm ready to put you out right now, sir.
Then he started staring at me, just like staring at me. He was like, your eyes, like, it's like he was almost about to jump over my glasses, like, your eyes, your mouth. And I'm like, that got real weird. Now I'm like, what? He was like, I like your eyeshadow and your lipstick. So I'm like, okay. I'm thinking it's a nice little compliment, but he wasn't really talking about like my pupils, my eyes, like the color of my eyes or the shape of my lips or anything. He was talking about the fact that I had on eyeshadow and lipstick. A little backstory on that is because his previous girlfriend, he said that she had stopped wearing makeup and doing herself up, getting dolled up and whatnot. So he was just appreciating the fact that somebody had a little bit of something on them. But it was almost weird to the point, like, he probably wanted to wear it himself. I'm not. I'm
Right. That's what I'm
still.
like.
In this day and age, you
I'm
gotta
like, wait, what?
you gotta ask.
Hmm.
So at that point, like, it was almost decent at the beginning when he said about the eyes, a compliment, but it just got weird after that, me knowing where it came from. So that's strike two. That was strike two.
Mhm.
So after we got done eating, we had to kind of expedite it anyway because he had to go to work. And he had put some clothes in my friend's dryer prior to. So
What?
before we went, yeah, it's a weird, it's kind of weird. It's very. We went to like this little park that wasn't too far from the restaurant, and he was like, let's take a picture. So like I said, it was already a somebody that was in the picture. So I'm figuring at this point he's trying to make somebody jealous or something like that, because he was like, send me the picture, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. At that point, that's already strike three for me. But then it took some more weird turns after this. So when we got back to my friend's house, he realized that he didn't press the start button on the dryer. So now he's going to work in wet clothes. And then the next day, I was getting ready to leave. I was leaving, and he was coming over to say bye and to give me money for gas since we took my car. So he was like, Yeah, so we just talking, and then he dips off into like one of my friend's back rooms and just was there. I noticed a girl passing by, and then she finally came in. So this is the girl. This is the girl. She was like, I need to talk to him. So she went back there, talked to him. Then next thing you know, I see her coming back with shoes, some Jordans. She came back with Jordans in her hand and dipped. Uh, and dipped. So
She got her investment back.
Did he even have a place to live?
Sorry.
You done went out with a homosexual.
so he from my understanding, he is like a family home. So that's where he was, his family's home. And I guess he used to kick it with the girl sometimes. So when she came out, she was looking me upside my head like I'm the problem. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on, but let me get out of here. So I said bye to my little godchildren. I said bye to my friend, and I got around the corner. And he was like, he texted me and was like, "You want your gas money?" At this point, leave me alone. Leave me alone. We good.
So keep
we're
that money. Go get you some shoes.
Exactly. And to this day, he still be asking where I am, and my friend be like, "She don't want nothing to do with you. Leave her alone." And last I heard, him and her back together. So, Eric, I think you said the last time he accomplished what he was supposed to. I think he did too. So they happy in their toxicity.
Oh my God. Yeah, they rolling around in the mud together.
And they can have at it.
Oh,
So yeah,
honey.
Theresa, that was a homosexual. It was.
Yep, you're homosexual. Okay.
Now,
Well,
which? Go ahead.
now, my story was not as bad as that, but a woman did show up in the date, so it was pretty bad. I was telling this story on our show when our lights went off when we was during the hurricane. But this was back during the time when I was kind of getting hip to paying attention to red flags, but I was still not all the way there. So I still had some toxic. I was still attracted to some toxic behaviors myself.
Mm-hmm.
So met this guy on POF, and we exchanged phone numbers, and we were talking on the phone. And I noticed like every time on the phone, on our phone conversations, he would find a way to work it into the conversation how him and his wife broke up. His wife cheated on him. I think his wife cheated on him with one of his friends, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think she married the friend that she cheated on him with. And so he kept making it a habit to bring that up, to trying to let me know that this is what happened in his last relationship and he don't want to go through that again. And I was like, okay, cool. That's over with. Then we'll start talking about something else. He would always bring that back up. And so I asked him, I said, are you over it? I said, because you seem to talk about it a lot. And I really don't want to talk about your ex anymore. He was like, oh, I'm over that. And I'm over that. She done moved on with her life. I done moved on with my life. So he stopped talking about it. So I was like, cool, maybe it's okay. So when we decided to meet up on the date, this was a lesson I also learned. It's really never a good idea for the first date to meet somebody at the movies because y'all going to be in a movie theater watching a movie. You don't really get a chance to talk to each other because you're sitting there just watching this movie. But we decided to meet at this movie theater in Denham Springs. It's called a Movie Tavern. And so they have like a bar. They have all different kinds of places where you can sit and eat and all this stuff. And then they actually have where you can order your food. They bring your food to your seat while you're watching the movie. So when we first walked in, we sat at one of the tables and we was just chit-chatting and talking. And a little, like maybe 14, 15-year-old girl walked over to our table and started talking to him. And he introduced her. He said, this is my daughter. And I was like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? This and that and the other. And I'm like, when she walked off, I'm like, oh, who she up in here with her little friends? They going to the movie? No, her and her mama here. I'm like, okay, well, I know they're not going to the same movie we going to. Maybe they going to see a different movie. So I didn't think nothing else of it. So when we get in the movie theater, the daughter, the mother, the ex-wife, and her new husband was in the theater, like 2 rows above us. And so I'm like, I want to look up and see who is these people behind me. Are they looking at us? Was this a setup? Did you know they was gonna be here? Like, why how is this this too big of a coincidence? And so the daughter kept coming back down, sitting down there talking to us, sitting next to her daddy, laughing and talking. Then she'd go back up there by her mom. I was like, this is too uncomfortable. So when the movie was over, he was walking me to my car. I said, that's too much of a coincidence. How your ex-wife and her husband end up being at the same movie theater and watching the same exact movie that we came to see. I know for a fact he set that up. He knew they was going to be there, and he wanted them to see me there with him, because I think he was trying to make her jealous, because you're not over this woman. You still mad about this woman cheating on you and leaving you for another man, and you trying to prove a point to her. But don't play those games with me, because that could have turned out a whole different kind of way if she was one of them kind of people. But it's obvious she don't give a damn. She done moved on. She married the man. Why don't you move on?
Oh my goodness.
So he tried to hug me and kiss me, and I was like, sir, get off of me. You'll never see me again. And that was that.
I know you blocked him. I know you did.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And I believe he was sending his daughter back up to try to tell them this. That's probably what he was doing.
Childish games.
All right. What about you, Theresa? You made up your mind on which story? You on mute.
You on mute.
You muted. Can you hear us?
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to process. I was so in depth, I wasn't missing that. I'm still trying to process what y'all said. Let me see. It's like, wow, like, my first date story, I'll go ahead and share this one, but I have like a secondary, we've been dating for a while, catastrophe, but I'm going to share just the first date debacle. I met a guy, we went on the date. We did have good conversation the first couple of times. We talked. He invited me to come meet him for happy hour at a sushi place. He showed up. I put on like a little sundress, some sandals, nothing too flashy, but enough to say, hey, I tried before I came to this date. He showed up in, go with me now, a Popeye the Sailor Man t-shirt, some basketball shorts, some socks and slides. Now, I had been working all day and really hadn't had time to stop and eat. So when he walked over to me, he was like, why'd you get dressed up? I was like, I'm not dressed up first. Second, you asked me to come have happy hour with you. I put the effort in. I mean, because you asked me to meet you for happy hour. Well, I've been out working all day, and I didn't have time to go back home. You set the time, the date. You said, come meet me at this place at this time.
Wait, wow. He said he's been working.
I want you to run that outfit down.
Working outside in the oil field.
Okay.
What would you like for me to run back, Erica?
Run that outfit back one more time.
Sailor Man. t-shirt,
Yeah.
basketball shorts, socks and slides.
And you been at work with some slides.
I had on a nice little brown sundress to hit my knee and some coral sandals. My feet was done and I had put a little makeup on. So yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
Yeah.
it gets better.
Okay.
We get inside the restaurant because I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat because I'm here and I ain't ate all day. But the good thing is I had a Zoom meeting. We met at 6:30. I had a Zoom meeting to be on at 8. So I had an out. So we get in. He daps the waiter up. I say, so you bring everybody here, huh?
Mm.
For you to be dapping up the little Asian dude. He
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
this
man, it's a
routine.
cool little happy hour. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. And I'm not out of a whole lot of money. So he was like, are you gonna get a drink? And I was like, no, I got a meeting to be on. I'm not drinking on this date. So he was like, oh, okay, you sure you don't want nothing to drink? Yeah, I don't want nothing to drink. So we're talking, and he was like, yeah, I'm glad you came out. I really wanted you to come out because I wanted to be with somebody I could have a conversation with. He was like, them chicks I be dating, they don't have no conversation. They just come through the house or whatever, and they can't hold no conversation. They ain't got no content or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, I ain't gonna be here long. Because I know you got to get home to read one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Because whomever these girls is that you dating. So let's all get this out the way. I got to Zoom in a little bit. Let's go. And he talking about some, did you really just say that to me? I said, you said that you dating. I don't know. So I
Well,
guess you can come over whatever.
first of all, I appreciate his honesty because he been honest with you. So you just being honest back. So
Right. If he could give honesty, he should be able to take it.
So he moves on to tell me that he asked me a couple of restaurants, places. He was like, do you go there? I was like, oh, I've been there once. I never returned. He was like, good, because I don't date chicks that go to that particular restaurant. And I was like, okay, whatever. So then he goes on to tell me that he has 5 of the water cooler jugs
Mm-hmm.
with money, change, dollars, whatever in there. And he can tell me that because I don't know where he lives and I can't come and rob. He don't think I'll come and rob him to take his jugs of money from out of his closet. And he told me that he went to, I guess, the DSEG schools, the white schools here, and his parents lived in a better neighborhood. So he was much better than most of the black guys that were here in Houston. And he makes, was it 250,000 a year? And people are always after his money. And I was like, oh, okay. As I'm eating my sushi and getting ready to go for this meeting, like, anything else you want? You want any dessert? You sure you don't want nothing to drink? No, I don't want nothing to drink.
I want
I
out
had
of
a
here.
really good time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, he was like, and you funny too. Yeah, I had a good time. And I was like, yep. He's like, well, you gotta go on home. You got about 10 minutes to get on your Zoom, about 15, 20 minutes to get on your Zoom. I was like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there on time if I got a lot or whatever. He never called me and I never called him. But I was just like, this what you came up with is just,
He
Papa had
sound
a sailor man.
really weird.
he was really weird. And I don't tend to have to block folks. Like, they just don't call me back. And it may just be my president. A lot of them don't like the jokey stuff. That I have a good comeback. But I've always had a seat at the table with guys that have talked real transparent and real open.
Mm-hmm.
Like, since I was 1920. So I've heard the game. I know how to maneuver the game. I used to bartend. I used to work as cocktail waitress. So it ain't too much up under the sun that you gonna say that I ain't gonna have a comeback that I ain't heard.
Right.
So and then I have what I'll call my raggedy friend crew and relative crew. So I kind of know like certain red flags I've heard guys directly talk about. So I don't have to guess at what a red flag is. So they'll be like, I told this chick blah 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 blah, and this is what happened, and this is what the response I was trying to get. So I don't spend a whole lot of times like I'd rather go on the first date. I'd rather you throw your flags out, and then I can be like, yeah, and then I'll run the date or the scenario back by my homeboys. I'll be like, this he told me blah blah. He's like, he told you what? He's like, did he not know who he was out on the date with? I was like, I don't know, but this is what he came up with. So yeah, just the whole craziness. But I do have.
He was blunt and honest. He was.
He was
And
blunt, honest, and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crazy. And he should have stayed over there with the nursery rhymes instead of trying to come over to the Barnes and Noble and talk to me. He should have stayed on the Sweet Pickle bus with
I
who
swear.
he did over there in Whoville with Dr. Seuss and left me the hell alone.
Oh my goodness. Stacey, what you got for us?
Okay, so I had to think back in my arsenal too. So unfortunately, there is an arsenal. Oh God! But the most recent one happened a few years ago, and I'm gonna, as I tell the story, I'm gonna be describing a certain type of man, and if you can figure out the type of man, please feel free to jump in and let me know, or just let us know. So
Gotcha.
I've been on a date with this gentleman. I can't remember where I met him. Probably at someone's party or something like that. I don't know. He took me to a nice restaurant, had a really nice BMW, the big body, expensive ones, and everything like that. We went out to the restaurant. God bless the waiter. He carded us. I'm like, that's so sweet. So, right? He gave us back the our driver's license. And joking, I playfully snatched his license from him. I'm like, oh, I have your license. And he started acting weird. Give that to me. Give it back. Da, da, da. Really tense. So I'm like, what is this about? Looked at the license plate address, excuse me. And I looked at the birthday and I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, how old are you? He was like, oh, no, that's not my real age. That's not my real age. Because he had told me he was 12 years younger. So I said, what do you mean this is not your age? It's on your driver's license. He was like, well, it is my age, but it's not my age. And I'm like, I don't understand. So he went and said that, well, if you add up all the numbers in the digits of your birth date, that is your actual age. I was like, so you're 26? Yeah, I'm 26. I was like, he's like, yeah, I'm forever going to be 26. I said, oh, okay. So when you were 12, he says 26. I said, okay. So when you turn 59, you're going to be, he says 26. I said, oh, okay. Handed him back his license. Clear. I mean, that wasn't a red flag. That was a red banner. So conversation is going on, and I start asking more questions because once I start getting those red flags, I'm going to probe because I didn't know what's going on here. He told me that he lived with his mother lived with him. I said, oh, that's interesting. So whose name is on the lease? His mother's. Oh, okay. So you live with your mother? No, she lives with me. Okay. Got it.
Excuse me. Was he from overseas?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. No, but keep guessing. So
it sounds like you familiar with this, Theresa.
So he told me the city that he lived in. I would rather not say just because I don't want to offend anybody if they think higher or lesser or whatever. I said okay, that's cool. And then he told me that he had a son. I said okay. I said how old were you when you had your son? 26, whatever. So how old is your son? 13. Like, oh, when's the last time you see him? Oh, his mother doesn't let me see him, et cetera, this and that. She's upset. And I was like, well, why? She's just upset. She just feels some type of way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Again, I'm probing and just trying to find out what's going on here. And he's a barber. He's a barber. And if you know about that type of, maybe Theresa, if you have that type of job, you can declare your income on your taxes. So if you can declare your income on your taxes, you can say you've made $50 a whole year when you've made more than that, or vice versa. So I'm adding everything up together, and he said that he only paid about $50 for his rent. So you do the math. He's probably declaring low income on his income taxes. He's only paying $50, probably, assisted, for his
And then
home.
you work for the government, and this is the wrong type of information to be telling you.
I look up people when necessary. I don't do it all the time, but if I see red flags, I'm gonna do it, And so, in addition to that, he wants to brag and tell me he's driving an $800 a month BMW, and I kind of had to tell him, I'm like, well, that's why you don't see your son. I'm like, you probably don't give this the mother of your child any money to help take care and raise your child. And I'm like, and I asked him, well, is it true or not? It's like, oh, well, no, I give her what I can. I'm like, what do you mean what you can? You have an $800 car sitting outside. How do you not have money to pay, to give something to the mother of your child, to take care of your son? Oh, but he's okay. What do you mean he's okay? Oh, he's okay. I'm like, I don't understand. Please explain. Expound on that. Oh, well, I've really, meditated on it, and I've rested on it, and he's my son, and I know he's okay. He's going to be okay. I said, I just said, I don't understand. I'm like, a son needs his father in present in his life. So
and
how
he's
are you
13? Yeah.
13? So how are you going to tell me that he's gonna be, I just know he's gonna be okay? I'm like, well, that's not how it works. But so that was that, and it was just a whole train wreck. There was more I could add to that, but I feel like I'm assassinating his character enough. But
went from
No,
zero
he's
to 100 real
assassinating
quick.
his own character. Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you.
0 to 100 real quick.
And it was the craziest thing. So, I mean, nothing in me was like sitting right with this whole situation, this day that went on this guy. So I used to commute to work in downtown Miami. So I'm on the bus ride home, and something's telling me, look it up, look it up, look it up. By the way, have you figured out what type of a man this is by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
That's a mix of an F-boy and a dust mite.
Yes. Okay. So
And a waste of time.
yeah. So I'm on the bus, and something's telling me, look up this phrase, and so I dated. How do you know if you're dating a Hotep? I pulled up a list, and literally every line 1 through 20, and I said, oh my God, I'm dating a Hotep. So,
He didn't grand rising you to death.
Yeah.
he did at first, but I didn't catch it. I didn't pick up on it because he did it the one time, and then after that was it.
Oh my God! When you said that,
it
just made me think of something. But go ahead.
And that was pretty much it, because it was, what really threw me off was the BMW, because the more different spectrum. So I wouldn't expect, in my mind, an individual like that to drive a.
Oh, Hoteps like nice things, just not for they. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. So I remember when he called me, I said, "So are you a Hotep?"
Walking contradictions.
Yeah.
Walking contradictions.
I'm like, "Are you a Hotep?" And he's like, "Oh, I hate that word. Don't call me that." I said, "Oh my God." And that was pretty much shortly after that. It was like, that was a done deal, because forget being the Hotep side of things. It was just the fact that, like, you weren't taking care of your child, and you were giving these reasons why, and you're just saying overall because spirit, source, and everybody else. I'm spiritual, don't get me wrong.
It's all good.
Yeah, his God is telling him,
we
like,
don't judge
he's
over
fine.
here.
Yeah. So that was my horror story.
Q said, I feel for you ladies. Man.
Oh my God. When she was telling her story, it triggered a story I had forgot about. If you have time, I really need to tell this story.
Go
if
right
you
ahead.
have time.
The floor is yours.
Okay. If anybody needs to take a drink, take a shot. No red wine. If you got white stuff near you, this is my disclaimer. Okay. So, several years ago, I was at a how to do your resume job kind of class. And there was a Caucasian woman that was facilitating it. And then there was a guy that was helping her. And she said, well, either you can work with me or you can work with, which was a black male. And I went to start working on it, reached out, me and the black male talk, because there was some commonalities in our backgrounds. And fast forward, we talk on the phone several times. He finally says, we finally come to the thing, we're going to go out. Well, he asked me to meet him at church. And then from church, we would go to lunch after church. My first kind of church date, especially on the first date, but you know, I'm going to try something different. He said, don't get real dressed up. My church is really casual. I put on some jeans, t-shirt, you know, plain kind of dress t-shirt. And I think it's a little chilly, threw a little short trench coat on and a scarf and probably some little short boots and went to church. Get to church. And he's like, hey, why are you so dressed up? I was like, I'm not. I'm casual. What are you talking about? I don't know if any of you are familiar. I'm a big cartoon person. Used to be a cartoon called The Oblong.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody in the church looked like they had a storm robe on the oblongs. I'm looking around the church like, and I don't want to offend anybody. Charge it to if y'all mad, y'all just mad. Anybody watching this. But it was to the fact like God ain't helped nobody in this church. Like he ain't healed. It was really bad. It was like a whole episode of the Oblongs Go to Church. So I'm sitting around, I'm looking, and then I'm like, okay, so all right. So we get ready to leave. And he was like, okay, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, we can go to this place called Lemongrass. And I was like, we can go Lemongrass, top place, let's go there. And he hands me flag number one, well, number two, because the church is kind of weird. Number two, he hands me a bag of bread. Like a bag with several different kinds of bread in it. And I was like, where did this random bag of bread come from? Like, you brought me bread to church? Whatever. So he was like, no, when you get here early, they distribute bread at the church. And I was like, okay. So I go get in my car. I was like, yeah, Lemongrass. It's on Grand, Tile Grove. Meet you there in a little bit. And he pauses. And I'm like, you know, Tile Grove area, it's on Grand. I think we could Google back then. I like just Google the address. I forget what the cross street was, but I might have known it then. Let's go. Oh, I don't have a car. I was like, well, how did you get to church?
Oh my God, the bread and
I caught the bus. But here's the thing. When she introduced him, he was a former very high level executive for a very popular company that we all have probably rented a car from. And he had been in the kind of the face of them in a couple of commercials. So it was like, okay, so you don't have a car.
You can rent one? You can borrow one?
He was former, he wasn't working for that company anymore, but former executive for that. But I'm like, where's your car? So I was like, okay, fine. I made the taco lady mistake. And I was like, all right, come on, let's just go. Because it was like, we're maybe 3 miles away.
Hold on, wait a minute. And Erica, if you don't know the taco lady that we're talking about, it was somebody on TikTok telling her story where her and a guy planned a date, but then she had to end up driving an hour to him. They got to Taco Bell. He ordered 100 tacos, didn't have his wallet. She paid for the tacos. They went back to his house. His dad is sitting in the living room, and he just run to the kitchen, dump the tacos on the table, It was like, come on, let's eat. And the dad over there eating over them, came over, grabbed taco, eating, and asked, "You want to see my studio?"
And the girl finally left.
She grabbed her tacos and left.
That's crazy.
Okay, so
What?
we'll send you the video, Erica, so you can see it in real life as she tells the story.
I'm gonna
But
send it over y'all.
right. So I drive, I let him get in the car, and we go to lemongrass. Get to lemongrass, order our food, and I'm like, hey, like nobody. Did you Google me? I mean, kinda, but you
Yeah.
just said who you work for, and what your accomplishments were. Oh, so you don't know? No, don't know what. So I think no, I had asked him why did he choose that church? Why was he a member of that congregation of the Oblong, Church of Oblong? And he was like, that's when he asked me, did I Google him? And I was like, no. Like, I mean, enough to see where that he was actually this executive or whatever. He went on to tell me that he had just gotten out. He had robbed several gas stations across the river because he had a cocaine habit, which I'm going to say he had a crack habit. Because I don't remember hearing any stories of people that had a cocaine habit holding up gas stations, but I have heard of people that had a crack habit holding up gas stations. And he said the last time he did it, he got caught. But somebody helped him while he was in prison to get out. He wrote a book, and now he's out. And that was the church that helped him while he was wearing the orange jumpsuit. So I'm sitting there like, do I make a sudden move? Can I leave? Should I sit here? I don't know, so I just don't make no sudden moves. And I'm
Yeah.
like, he was like, my wife left me. She took the kids. I can't see my kids. And I was like, oh okay. Finish my food. He finished his food. I was like, but I didn't know to Google him with robbery, with gas station, with went to jail behind his name. Because then I got home, then I Googled and found out if I put those keywords in, he would show up as that. I did drop said person off where I believe was near a halfway house and never reached out to him again.
I was just
Fast
about to
forward,
say that's why he said meet him at the church.
fast forward, um, went to a Walgreens several months later, not too far from the midway point between our residence of where we resided. And it had to be like 98 degrees outside. And he was in the Walgreens and he had on some joggers and a hoodie, all black. And he was like, oh, hey. And I was like, oh, I immediately put my stuff down and left the Walgreens because I did not want to be a witness of him robbing this Walgreens because you, sir, have on a heavy duty St. Louis winter hoodie and jogger set
No.
at the damn Walgreens. And because you spoke to me, I am not going to be on the news as a person of interest. And just so happens, I end up knowing the person, but they didn't know that we had met, knowing the person that produced the commercial. And I was like, ran into them and I was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And they was like, what? I was like, yeah. So that person you produced the commercial for, I actually met, went on the date, didn't know the backstory, and found out that there was a backstory. And he was just like, so that one trumps Popeye the Sailor Man. I had actually forgot about it till she started talking about the guess what kind of man this was, and it triggered. But yeah, I went out with a past VP that end up being the crackhead that robbed. I'm sorry, cocaine person, crackhead
Yeah.
that robbed three gas stations, and end up
Dumbass.
being delivered by the Church of Oblong. And
See, now, wouldn't you want that information before you make it to the date? Like, hey, I ain't been locked up. Let me
well,
make
see,
that decision.
he didn't disclose it until the date. And when he disclosed it, it was like, hey, did you Google me? No, so I didn't know the key. I mean, I Googled to make sure he was who he was as far as in the. I probably looked it up on LinkedIn and looked up, as you put the person name in Google, and it take you to the LinkedIn page, which it took me to LinkedIn. It didn't take me to the.
Right,
And
the criminal
sometimes
part.
news stories they'll be like, St. Louis man robs gas. It
Right,
don't
they
always
won't say the
include
name.
your name or whatever. Or if you meet somebody that's this high level executive and you find their name, you're not thinking the high level executive is the same person that robbed the.
Convictions.
You're like, hey, two people with this name. It wasn't like he had a rare name. His name wasn't, But yeah, that had to have been
Wow.
the worst, awkwardest date ever that happened to me. But yeah, that was
And then
batshit
to turn
crazy.
around, and see them and possibly in the act. That's
Man, I got out of that Walgreens so fast. I was like, whatever this is, I don't need it. Mm-mm.
oh my goodness. Oh my
I
goodness.
think I think that one topped all the hours.
Yep. Hands down.
And now I
You
forgot about it till she said something. I was like, oh, I forgot about the executive crackhead criminal.
So what happened? So his drug habit messed him up with the executive position. He smoked himself out of it.
He was using it as nose candy. That is a lie. But yeah,
Oh,
he once he got arrested and they found out what it was, that's pretty much what it was. But
ooh. So he
but
resorted to robbing people.
he blamed like peer pressure. This dude was like
grown.
late 30s, early 40s.
Grown.
He blamed peer pressure. Was like, yeah, I was with some people and they
No.
told me to try it and I tried it and now they're the reason to blame of why I have this habit. No, you're the reason to blame we all watched New Jack City, we all watched Gator Dancing, we all watched Holly Berry Roll and all the other crackhead movies. We know what happens when you use crack.
Thank you. You ain't got to do it to know what it do.
We've all seen the crackheads walking up and down the street. We've all seen all of this. Like, this is not the new drug. Like, this ain't. I don't even
So
know what to say. It's not.
just say you wanted to try it. Just say you
But it
wanted it a
definitely
part of your
wasn't
life.
regular cocaine. I can tell you that.
Right. Mm-mm-mm. He didn't see Pookie. Mm-mm-mm.
Because he tried to tell me it was the white collar drug he was doing, which was cocaine up the nose. No, this was you smoked this cheap ass shit and got hooked and was over there like at the gas station. And
Cause
I don't even think he had a real gun. Like,
I ain't never heard of nobody snorting cocaine robbing banks.
absolutely. And you that type of executive, like, no, you was on crack.
Exactly. Mm-mm-mm.
See? Oh my
So
goodness.
it's not only the duffel bag boys or the lower income boys, it could be your high level executive.
Right
Mm-hmm.
there. Right there on our TV screens. That's true. That's true. So that brings me to my next point. We definitely got to pay attention to these red flags. Erica, what are some red flags that you pay attention to now, like that you can call off bat?
Well, definitely according to my dating story, if you got a lot of negative things to say about your exes and it was never your fault, all of your exes was crazy, um, you don't have any good things to say about any of them, that's a red flag for me. Um, Another red flag is I'm an alpha man. Sir, if you gotta tell me that, I already know you're not.
Thanks.
All this talking about sex too early, like making these sexual innuendos. I met a man claim he was a pastor of a church. We was talking good for maybe like 3 days. Then this man asked me to send him a picture of my breasts so he could take care of himself. I said, I'll be damned if I do. I mean,
You
you
should have
talking
sent back
all this
what
stuff.
Jesus did.
Yeah, then you talk all this stuff about the church and how he turned his life around, and he a youth minister, and he looking for a first lady. They
Girl, being
all
first
use
lady ain't nothing but a headache. I just want to let you know that.
they use all that godly stuff to that they thinking that's gonna kind of make
Sway
you
you.
trust them more,
Mm-hmm.
and look up to them, and then all of a sudden, wham, out of left field, they hit you with a dick pic or something.
Oh yeah.
But if
Now
you poured holy water over it, it's all right. Yeah, pouring some
that's
holy water over.
that's definitely a huge red flag. Coming in my inbox with that. I think we had this discussion before with the hey babies and sweeties and boos, and like immediately out the gate, you don't even know what my last name is.
Mm-hmm. Or God told him you was gonna be his wife.
Mm.
It ain't the God I serve, sir. He didn't tell me nothing like that.
I'll write it on the tablet.
Oh my oh my goodness. What about you, Stacey? What are some more red flags for you?
I definitely echo everything that you said so far, you and Erica, for sure. And another one for me is it's when they ask, "Can you cook?" Because
Oh,
mm-hmm,
that's a
yep,
trigger for me.
it is. It really is, because so they want to know if you can feed them, take care of them. So, and then they're gonna either invite you over to come cook for them, or they're gonna invite themselves over to your place. So they want you to feed them, then F them. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't do that over here. I'm like, I mean, I've been taking care of myself for all these years. What about you? But that one, in addition to everything you said, that one for me, that is the trigger, because it's like you're opening a door that it's not ready to be entered into. But that's my trigger.
It is. I guess fighting mad, girl. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. It's like, so is that your prerequisite for dating a woman? She gotta know how to cook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know how to cook, but I'm not cooking.
Right. Let
Exactly.
me let me offer. Let me offer now, cause I do talk about food. I talk about food, and if you don't like my baking and my sweets, then we got a problem. So let me bring it up. Now you asking me,
Exactly.
can I cook?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Teresa?
Oh, child. One is if you got to run down your list of materialistic stuff,
Ooh, that one.
that's a red flag for me. Um, a red flag for me is how do you interact with your children
Mm.
is a red flag. I was getting to know a guy, and his daughter, him and his daughter were into it. Grown daughter, um, and he said that we in our community we've used the term "I brought you in, I'll take you out,"
Right.
but the way that he spoke about how mad he was at his daughter that he was going to get on the road and go take her out. Like, I was like, so yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
And um, another red flag is no, especially with adult children, no boundaries with your adult children. So I have been dating a guy for some months. Um, both had grown children in each household. So
Mhm.
he had an adult daughter in his household, which I really felt was she was way too old to still be in the household. My daughter had just moved to Houston, so I was giving her a year. We had made an agreement. We'll stay together for a year. You save your money, get on your feet, figure out where you want to stay, and
Right.
you can go your own way.
Mhm.
Because my daughter's 27, and I know that she wants to live her life, without me hovering. Hovering. I don't want her hovering over my, monitoring certain things or whatever. So we decided we were going to spend some adult time at a hotel. Well, his 33-year-old daughter found his phone and showed up at the hotel and told the hotel management that her dad was needed a wellness check because he was not answering his phone. So,
And she
so
knew what y'all she knew y'all were there together.
we had not I had not met the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had met mine by circumstances that I needed him to help me move something in the
Mm-hmm.
house. We had picked up something. He was like, I'm coming to help you take it in the house. So he met my daughter under them circumstances, but it was never, this is,
Hey,
we
yeah.
together, whatever.
Right.
I had not met his daughter, but she had called several of his friends. When she found where he was on the Find My Phone app, I feel like it should have been a done deal. That he said,
He at a hotel. You know what he doing
He
there?
busy. He busy right now.
and she showed up to the hotel
Oh my goodness.
and had them do a safety check. Yeah. So
So,
boundaries, not having any boundaries with your children.
wow.
Um,
33 years old.
33 years. So he had to call all his friends she had called and tell them because she was like, my dad's missing. I can't get in contact with him. Like, and decide what he was gonna tell them, like as a grown ass man. And so I went home and I was like, daughter, would you do this? And she was like, it's 11. I think I got home at like 11:30, 12 o'clock that next day. Like, she was like,
The JJ
"For what?
blocking.
Why would I be looking for you?"
Look,
Yeah, she
And
got some
she was
mental
like,
health issues or something. So is her daddy her sole like source of income or
That's what I
whatever?
was
Do
thinking.
she work?
That's what
Is
I'm
so,
thinking.
she worrying about like him getting with somebody and that's gonna take away from
wait
That's
for
what
her
I'm
the
being
whole
able to
thinking.
thing.
live there?
so she works. She, um, the dad was widowed
Mm-hmm.
and her mom passed away, but she's 33 years old. And
Grow
what,
up.
this was a whole lot for
Look, I'm
someone in that
32.
age range.
Find her. Let's square up because that was dirty. That's
Like,
too far.
so because your mother died, you think your daddy penis never gonna get hard again?
She
I
might
Like,
have
mean,
had
even
some
if
kind of like
it
attachment issue with him after the
Yeah.
death. Yeah.
yeah, it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
it was so children and they're not having any boundaries as an
Mm-hmm.
adult. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can understand a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, like, I don't know where my daddy is. But
Right.
33, like, why wasn't you somewhere? Like,
Exactly. Yeah,
so
that ain't healthy at all.
uh
Oh my
the
goodness.
single, like I mentioned, the single married thing is a red flag for me.
Very.
Um
Now
what
look,
else
now
would
that
be
this was not a date situation, but this was a phone conversation thing, and
yeah,
I
this
kind of
was the
peeped.
phone
I
conversation prior to
I
the date. We never
That's what
made
I'm
it there.
saying. I
Mhm.
had somebody to do me like that too, and we were just having a conversation, and he was like, this what tripped me out is we were texting first, and he was like, call me. So I'm like, it was about maybe 5-10 minutes later. And then when I said hello, he was like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, okay, one, they tell me that you didn't have my number saved, and for what reason? And then once I was like, "It's me," he was like, "Well, hold on, I'm gonna call you right back." 5 minutes later, I can hear him like in the car, like, "Yeah, I'm just going to go pick this up." So we talking as he's riding. So that lets me know somebody might be at the house, because then once he got back to the house, he was like, "Well, yeah, I'm about to take this stuff in. I'll call you back." So I'm like,
Let
"Yeah,
me get
you
out here
tripping."
from you.
And
Yeah,
then the
that's
third thing,
weird.
look, number three. The third thing is he started taking himself off of social media. Like he'll deactivate the page for a little while he go out of town. And then
Oh
go from there.
yeah, red
So I'm like,
flags.
yeah, yeah. So
Hmm.
that ended before it could even start.
Yep. Mm-mm-mm.
Oh my goodness. But yes, I appreciate you ladies for coming on. We're gonna have to do this again, because I know we probably got plenty more stories. And then like I said, I want to bring the guys on to come and tell some of their stories. So I can see that we have a list of red flags to just kind of pay attention. So my message to everybody out there looking, be observant, be very observant, take everything for face value, because people show who they are. They do. It's right
Hmm.
there in front of you. Let everybody know where they can find you, Erica. I'm gonna start with you. You tell everybody where they can find you.
You can follow me on Instagram at dope discussions underscore pod, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in dope discussions with Erica, and we'll come right up, and you can subscribe to us. We go live every Sunday at 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And this Sunday, we're going to be talking about the dreaded friend zone. What do you
Oh,
do when you get put in the friend zone, or when you put somebody in the friend zone? So we're going to talk about
oh.
that.
All right, all right. Teresa, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at everybody underscore loves underscore the underscore pretty plug. Um, and that's really the best place to find me, because if you find me on there, you're gonna find all kind of deals, stuff about credit, stuff about telehealth, stuff
That's
about
right.
insurance. Yeah. So I also give you the plug into people you need to know, items you need to know about. Just a whole wealth of knowledge over there.
Now I really love the urgent care thing, especially because of the counseling aspect of it. People can
Hmm.
get their counseling right from home. I think you need to hit up homeboy and hand that counseling session off to that 33-year-old daughter. I really think that's what needs to happen. She need to talk to
Mhm.
somebody.
Yeah.
We not opening that door no more. He on his own to deal with his own problems.
and, and Miss Stacy, where can the people find you on any social media platforms?
Yes, so I'm gonna tap into my inner Hotep and let everybody know you can meet me where the moon and the sun kiss at the fall equinox during the.
Oh, oh, beautiful.
Look, grand rising, my sister.
Grand Rising.
The star, yeah.
Ooh, goodness
No, but
gracious.
I'm not really on social media like that. I will say thank you for having me. This really woke up my creative juices, and I can see doing something in the future. I need to hibernate for a little bit, so I really don't have much social media out there right now. But thank you for having me, and I appreciate this. I loved
Not a
it so
problem.
much.
I
It's a
appreciate
star.
each and every one of y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for stopping in with me. And it's always a blast. Y'all make sure to tune in next time. I got plenty of things coming. I'll definitely send you guys other topics that you might want to be a part of. And we're gonna keep it saucy, we're gonna keep it bossy. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in to another session of Boss Sitch Boss Chick Corner.